Gamification and Kindergarten Students Engagement by Giovanna Luque. I work for a Native American reservation that promotes a bilingual curriculum. The school's mission is to foster a love of learning and bilingual language development while keeping its cultural integrity. I work with the junior kindergarten. The school counts on a reliable internet connection that is consistent and stable. Our students feel comfortable with the use of technology. The school's most crucial challenge is more motivation and goal setting for higher education. At the beginning of the school year, we had 15 students, and nowadays only 8 attend most of the time, but only a few participate daily. One of the teachers' most significant concern is properly motivating their students. Getting students engaged in class can be challenging. It is increasingly evident that school dropout prevention must begin as early as possible. As teachers and facilitators, we prioritize creating more engaging instruction for future generations. I've been implementing gamification in my classroom and it seems promising, so I wanted to focus this project on the topic since it might be effective for learning in the long run. Below are my research questions. I closely examined the process to explore the research questions and recorded all data collected through interviews, observations, and digital and non-digital game results. I learned from the data of my students' likes and dislikes on different subjects, and if gamification creates any difference such as more engagement, cognitive improvement, motivational, or behavioral. I asked the children separately what they would like to learn and whether they prefer using their laptops or papers, and if they had a preference between subjects. I collected the information to analyze the responses, which helped me create a guide of what and how to act. Following this one, my students They responded with their favorite games, and that's how I got the idea of the games and the lessons to use. I created this research focusing on addition and syllables based on their likes. Here's an example of what I had in mind. Followed by the interview documentation with students' answers. 3 out of 5 selected working with laptops better. Then I started to work on my lesson plans. I created a concrete lesson to work as a group, solving addition problems using numbers 0 to 10. Then, I provided time for students to work independently using a worksheet. Here's the how many are there worksheet. Then, I integrated gamification with the birdie game, but first we played it as a group using our Elmo board in class. After some examples, they had time to play on their laptops. Now, I included work samples, process pictures, and results, but I will narrate my observations. You see pictures of students working on their worksheets, using counters as needed, working on their laptops, and practicing addition individually and as a group. Here's the worksheet samples, paper and pencil worksheet results. My observations, most children completed their work smoothly in paper and pencil, but as you can see, they struggled with the number writing. Using gamification as a tool, 2 students fell behind. And those sample students, those same students are the ones we can see spending more time in the app. Now, syllables. I began the lesson plan with a concrete learning experience. Students wrote their names on paper and had to break them into chunks or syllables. Then they passed the work on worksheets individually after participating in breaking various words as a group. Finally, they started to play the game, counting syllables using their laptops. Paper and pencil results were positive, but when we compared the results using the app, only 3 students got a perfect result, and one of those perfect results took the student 18 minutes to complete. The findings, question 1, in the addition game, the gamification implementation and integration were resourceful, since students felt the independence of working on their terms using time and counters, the flexibility of only playing the game they liked, and the freedom of exploring more addition games. The syllables games results were the ones I expected, but still, the students enjoyed playing the game and clapping the syllables. For the question 2, the games worked as a support and a complement to the lessons. I noticed a motivational improvement, especially after competing as a group in front of the class. The lowest score in class was confident and wanting to play more using the laptop. So a behavioral improvement was noticed since they were more receptive to the learning experience. Concrete learning was helpful and offered the students who needed. Students could stand and get counters they liked if they needed during addition activities, and paper strip for name cards to break into chunks. Paper and pencil was an eye-opener during math activity because most of the students struggle with their writing, so we can go back, review, and work with fine motor skills too. I noticed they had the time to clap during syllables and felt comfortable completing the worksheets provided. The game Birdie, one of their favorites, was helpful and easier for some students since they only recognize numbers and don't need to write them. Also, they compared their results to keep playing and having a better score every time, wanting to improve. The counting the syllables game was more complicated for them. You notice when one of the perfect scores took 18 minutes to complete in 6 attempts. The group game helped them compete with each other in class. As a group competition, they were highly motivated, engaged, and willing to work on their laptops right away. My findings reveal that gamification, as mentioned by Kofinos, Reddy, and Yang, is only part of the solution to user engagement. Still, it can be a powerful tool when used correctly to fit students' interest. Another reading that was always on my mind was the effect of challenge-based gamification of learning 2020, which states that it is very motivational for students to share their results and find pride in passing levels within a game. That's precisely what happened in my classroom and helped with the motivation and behavior of my students. And lastly, Kim and Castelli 2021, Effects of Gamification on Behavioral Change in Education, that supported my decision to use gamification as part of my lesson. I see gamification as a powerful tool to use as an add-up to a powerful lesson. In this study, we can observe how the integration of gamification positively affects one kindergarten class motivation and behavior outcomes. Students were more optimistic about participating while competing to get better scores while having fun. Gamification, it is an excellent addition to a class while suiting the students' interest and needs depending on challenges and support. However, this study was during a short period. I prefer to perform this research at the beginning of the year and compare it with other classes. A further and in-depth investigation is needed.